Excuse. Ayan, magandang gabi po sa inyo mga ka-action, mga kakamping, no? Ayan. So, ang nakikita nyo po ngayon, no? Live po tayo at live po din po yan doon sa Netherlands, sa Dahig, na kung saan ito po yung kauna-unahang pagharap ni dating Pangulong Duterte sa ICC kasi ngayon nga pong gabi pero umaga po sa kanila ha, ang first trial ng ano po sa kanya. So wait lang mga ka-action na at ako'y mag-share muna. Maya ko na po kayo batiin. Alright, magandang gabi po sa inyo Sir Joseph Juniore, thank you. Hindi kay Sir Padtay, magandang gabi, thank you. Ma'am Mayra Dalagan, magandang gabi po sa inyo, thank you. Hindi kay Remigio Magtubo, magandang gabi sa inyo Sir, thank you. Ma'am Nancy Birana, magandang gabi po sa inyo. Thank you din ka Ma'am Caroline Makino, magandang gabi po sa inyo. Mr. Coldivera, magandang gabi sa inyo sir. Hindi kay Asuncion Bituin, magandang gabi po sa inyo. Thank you din kay Presentasyon Bihar, magandang gabi po sa inyo. Thank you. Ito po ang sitwasyon ng ating mga kababayan na kung saan sila po ay mga Duterte supporters, no? Pero may mga antay din po dyan mga ka-action, may mga antay. Kaso nga lang, hindi nila siguro nakukunan. Baka nakahiwalay. Mang Doming TV, magandang gabi po sa inyo. Thank you. Ano kaya mangyayari dito kay lolo nyo digo? Ma'am Marisa Sumakawa Mix TV, magandang gabi sa inyo ma'am. Thank you. Yan po nakikita nyo, yan po ang sitwasyon ng ating mga kababayan doon sa Netherlands sa labas ng ICC po mga ka-action. Ayan. Kawawang mga supporters ng kriminal na tatay nila. Basta sa atin mga ka-action is kasama po tayo sa pakikipaglaban dito sa mga inosente na makamit nila ang hostesya sa kanilang mga namayapang pamilya ng mga inosente di umano. Ma'am Benos de Los Santos, magandang gabi po sa inyo ma'am, thank you. Hindi kay Ma'am Erlinda Asola, magandang gabi sa inyo ma'am, thank you. Hindi kay Ma'am Gemma Narcisa Ocampo, magandang gabi sa inyo, thank you ma'am. Hindi kay Virginia Chungko, magandang gabi sa inyo ma'am, thank you. Nagsisimula na ba? Wait lang ha, hanap nga tayo ng ibang video. Ayan na po mga ka-action. Tahimik na, ayan na.
Duterte est maintenant ouverte. Je souhaite la...
Good morning. I would like to welcome everyone inside and outside of the courtroom. Now, before we start with today's initial appearance,
Wait lang mga ka-action ha.
remind you
Check ko muna kung ano tong ano.
the chamber has authorized a video and taking your photograph. Please go on.
Je vous remercie, vous avez pris...
Thank you. You have 1 minute to take photographs and record videos.
Ma'am Mary Anyabo, magandang gabi sa inyo ma'am, thank you.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. Court officer, please, could you please call the case? Thank you, Madam President. Yours. The situation in the Republic of the Philippines, case the prosecutor versus Mr. Rodrigo Duterte. case number
Sino yan? O, yan na si dati Pangulong Duterte, oh.
arrives to come and allow the possession.
Sir Inamidan Paul, magandang gabi sa inyo, sir.
Very
Thank you.
much. I will now ask the parties to introduce themselves, starting with the Office of the Prosecutor. Please pause before speaking and speak slowly to allow the interpreters to interpret appropriately. May I ask you to introduce yourself and to confirm whether the list of the staff that I received prior to the hearing is correct, Mr. Prosecutor?
Your Honours, good morning. The list is correct. Once again, Deputy Prosecutor Ngayon to my left, trial lawyer Edward Jeremy behind us, trial lawyer Robin Croft, International Cooperation Advisor Chantel Daniels, and our very able case manager Grace Go. I'm Korean Farm Prosecutor.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. I now turn to the counsel for the defence of Mr. Duterte. As everyone can see, Mr. Duterte is present and is attending the hearing via video link. As Mr. Duterte made a long journey involving a considerable time difference, the Chamber authorised Mr. Duterte to follow the hearing at a distance. His counsel, however, is present with us in the courtroom. Thank you, counsel. Please introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, Your Honors. I am Salvador C. Medildea, counsel for Rodrigo Roa Duterte.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, counsel. I will now introduce the chamber. By my side, we have Judge Maria Lenkin, Judge Reine Adelaide Sophie Alakini Dansu, the Vice President of the Court, and Judge Maria del Socorros Flores Vieira. I am the presiding judge of the pre-trial chamber 1 of the court, and my name is Julia Antonella Martrop. Now, I would like to speak to you, Mr. Duterte. I'm speaking French, because you are receiving an interpretation of what I'm saying in English. I understand that you are at ease in the English language and that the interview yesterday at the detention centre was conducted in English and that you did not deem it necessary to request interpretation into any other language during this interview. This said, I would like firstly to confirm your identity. Could you provide us with your full name, please?
Young Rodrigo Roa Duterte. That's my first middle name is Roa. Surname is Duterte.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. What is your date of birth?
Again,
Can we request that the question be repeated? I don't think he heard it. Thank you.
Repetition from English. What is your date of birth? Yes, thank you very much, counsel. I was asking quite simply of Mr. Duterte what his full names were, and then I subsequently asked him what his date of birth was and what his place of birth is. Is that all right, counsel?
what I do. My birth year today is March 28, 1945. I was born in the province of Leyte in the Philippines.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. As a preliminary point, very well, thank you, Mr. Duterte. As a preliminary point, it is useful to clarify the nature and limited scope of this first appearance hearing. Today's hearing is neither the start of the trial nor is it a confirmation of charges hearing. During today's hearing, no evidence will be collected or presented, and the issues of Mr. Duterte's guilt or innocence will therefore not be addressed. In accordance with Article 61 of the Rome Statute, the Court's founding treaty, and Rule 1211 of the Rules of Procedure and Evidence, the main purpose of this initial appearance is to answer 3 questions. Firstly, the Chamber must ensure that the person who was the subject of the arrest warrant has been informed of the crimes of which he is accused. Second, the Chamber must ensure that this person has been informed of his rights as recognized by the Rome Statute. Third, the Chamber must set a date on which it intends to hold a confirmation of charges hearing. The Chamber notes that your counsel, Mr. Duterte, filed 2 motions, one in relation with today's hearing, and you may be aware that these 2 motions have not been accepted by the Chamber because of the nature of today's hearing. No further discussion on the matter is necessary during this hearing because, as I said at an earlier stage, the aim of this hearing today is to introduce the parties and to ascertain charges and to set a date for the confirmation of charges hearing at a later stage. With regard to the first point, I recall that Mr. Duterte has received a copy of the warrant for his arrest, and that a redacted version of the prosecution's application for the issuance of the warrant of arrest is public. I will now ask the court officer to read the charges against him. The charges will be read in English. Please, over to you. Thank you, Madam President, Your Honours.
On 7 March 2025, Pre-Trial Chamber 1 concluded that there were reasonable grounds to believe that Mr. Duterte is criminally responsible pursuant to Article 25 of the Rome Statute as an alleged indirect of a crime against humanity of murder pursuant to Article 7(1)(a) of the statute as follows. A. Murder of at least 19 persons, allegedly drug pushers or thieves, killed by members of the Davao Death Squad in various locations in or around Davao City, Philippines in 2011 and 2016. B. Murder of at least 24 persons, allegedly criminals, such as drug pushers or thieves or drug users, killed by or under the supervision of members of the Philippines law enforcement, sometimes with the assistance of persons who were not part of the police, at various locations in the Philippines between 2016 and 2019.
Merci beaucoup, Madame la
Thank you, Madam President. Mr. Duterte, I'm not going to ask you to stand up because I know your condition, so I'm going to allow you to remain seated. You have just heard the reading of the charges, which are in accordance with the content of the arrest warrant you received. This means that you have been informed of the crimes of which you are accused. And this concludes the examination of the first point mentioned above. I will now turn to the second point, which concerns your rights as a suspect before this court. I will summarize some of these rights, which are of particular importance at this stage of the proceedings. Those rights are as follows. You can benefit from the assistance free of charge of a competent interpreter and benefit from the necessary translations to meet the requirements of fairness. You have the right to have the time and facilities necessary to prepare your defense and to communicate freely and confidentially with the counsel of your choice. You have the right to remain silent, and you cannot be forced to testify against yourself or to confess guilt. You can also make statements in your defense without taking an oath. In addition to any other disclosure provided for in statute, the prosecutor must disclose to you, as soon as practicable, evidence in his possession or at his disposal that shows or tends to show your innocence or to mitigate your guilt, or that could undermine the credibility of the evidence against you. At the confirmation of charges hearing, you can contest the charges, challenge the evidence presented by the prosecutor, and present evidence. There will be no trial if the charges are not confirmed, or if the proceedings against you are completed. You have the possibility to make an application for interim release pending trial. And findings to Duterte, you have the right to be informed as soon as possible and in detail of the nature, cause, and content of the charges in the language that you fully understand and speak. Counsel, have you understood?
We're listening, listening, and before it ends, may we be allowed to present a manifestation on the circumstances behind the delivery of Mr. Duterte in this chamber.
Oui, maître, je dois d'abord demander
Yes, counsel. As part of the procedure, and as we said since the very outset, I need to ask Mr. Duterte himself to make observations as to the condition of his surrender to the court and the conditions of his detention at the detention facility of the court since his arrival. If you can please tell us these details.
Thank you.
oui, maître. Oui.
Presiding Judge, yes, counsel.
Please. 2 days ago, the whole world has witnessed the degrading fashion in which a former president of a sovereign country was bundled into a private aircraft and summarily transported to The Hague. To us lawyers, this would be called an extrajudicial rendition. To the less legally inclined, it was a pure and simple kidnapping. My client was denied all access to the legal recourse in the country of his citizenship, and this all in the nature of political score settling. Two troubled entities struck an unlikely alliance. An incumbent president who wished to neutralize and choke the legacy of my client and his daughter on the other hand, and a troubled legal institution subject to delegitimization and desperate for a price cuts and a legal show today on the other hand. With this in mind, it is not surprising that my client was abducted from his country. ICC private jets do not drop out of the thin air. That jet which received my client was coordinated in advance. The UAE is not a state party to the ICC and has no obligation to cooperate the court. Yet my client sat in transit in that country for more than 5 hours. I invite the registry's representative to present today in court to explain to the judges exactly how they believe this transfer was anything other than a gross abuse of process. Given the precipitous arrival of my client, an elderly man with debilitating medical issues, hard of hearing and poor of sight, he was taken to a hospital for observation. Only this morning have I met him for the first time with less than an hour to discuss legal issues. I have not been able to present him with a hard copy of the arrest warrant because we were not supplied with such. I have not even been able to explain to him what the prosecution requested when seeking the issuance of the arrest warrant. This is because the chamber only established a redacted version of the prosecution request last night. Other than to identify himself, my client is not able to contribute anything to this hearing. Most importantly, he is not able even to tell you that he has been informed of the charges as contained in the arrest warrant, or a reason more pertinent to which I alluded in my written request to this honorable pre-trial chamber this morning, and which is confidential in nature. Accordingly, I repeat my respectful request, which was rejected this morning, to postpone the substantive aspect of this hearing to the next week, when I will have the opportunity to sit with my client and to explain to him what a confirmation hearing is and what the disclosure is, and how the prosecution alleges that he committed crimes. I thank the court for its attention and regret to say that I do not have instructions to continue my submission any further today. Thank you.
D'abord, concernant
Thank you, Councillor. Now, with regard to the health issues of Mr. Duterte, I believe that the court has taken specific measures with regard to this situation, and I note that subsequent to his arrest and when he arrived at the detention centre, the report's doctor was of the opinion that you were fully mentally aware and fit, and that you had undergone further checks and tests at the detention facility. And when you approached health matters, saying that you were not able to come to the hearing, the doctors consulted with you were of the opinion that Mr. Duterte was not in a position to come to the hearing physically, but that if he gave a written permission, he would be able to take part via video link. Now, that is with regard to the health matters that you just mentioned. They are very, very important, especially concerning the matter of age. Now, with regard to the rights of Mr. Duterte, we have before us the registry's report that says that Mr. Duterte has been informed of his rights, including Articles 66 and 67 of the Rome Statute, and that he is aware of his rights and that he is also aware of the charges against him. We have before us the report of the registry saying that he was also aware of the warrant of arrest in the English language, and that he is very well versed in the English language. Once again, you have the possibility of these charges being read in English, which was the case today. I have read to you in the French language the rights that he has, Mr. Duterte, before this court, and I'd like to specify once again that this is an initial hearing in order for Mr. Duterte to be aware of his rights and the charges against him. And then there will be a full procedure that will unfurl leading up to the confirmation of charges that will enable Mr. Duterte to raise all the matters that you have just raised with regard to the warrant of arrest, with regard to the crimes committed, with regards to the charges, and any other matters associated with his arrest, and the matters of jurisdiction of the court. You have the opportunity to do this throughout these proceedings leading up to the actual confirmation of charges hearing. Now, counsel, with regard to your request for another hearing to be held next week, well, your initial request, that was, this was not accepted by the court. Now, you have seen the two decisions of the court that have been disclosed to you, and you are aware of the fact that these two decisions were refused. And this is by dint of the fact that this first initial appearance hearing does not need much preparation, as I have said to you on a number of occasions. I am now going to move on to the third stage, which is to set the date for the confirmation of charges hearing. After assessing all factors, including the need for the parties and participants to adequately prepare, as well as Mr. Duterte's rights, including his right to be tried within a reasonable time, the date for the commencement of the confirmation of charges hearing is September the 23rd, 2025. I would add that in accordance with Rule 1217 of the Rules of Procedure and Evidence, this date may be postponed by the Chamber depending on the progress of the proceedings, either on its own motion or at the request of the prosecutor or the defence. Before concluding this hearing, I would like to inform the parties of the next proceedings dates. First, I would like to recall that in accordance with Rule 1212B of the Rules of Procedure and Evidence, the Chamber holds status conferences to ensure a small exchange of information under satisfactory conditions. These conferences are organised either ex officio or at the request of the prosecutor or defence. Second, a set of decisions will be taken in a timely manner to ensure that the proceedings progress smoothly and expeditiously. More specifically, I am referring in particular to a decision on the arrangements and procedure for the disclosure of setting a timetable for the disclosure of evidence is such a way as to ensure orderly and efficient prosecution of parties. In this regard, the Chamber orders the prosecutor to begin disclosing today the information on the basis of which the warrant of arrest is obtained, and to complete this disclosure no later than within the next 7 days. The Chamber will also issue a decision on the participation of the victims who, according to the statute of the court and to the extent permitted by the Chamber, are authorised to present their views and concerns at this stage of the proceedings. We have come to the end of Mr. Duterte's first appearance hearing. I would like to thank all the participants in this hearing, the interpreters, and the stenographers. This concludes today's hearing.
Wait lang, nag-commercial mga ka-action.
Malayo pa ba?
Malapit na, dude.
Kap, you said that 2 hours ago.
Oh, hanggang doon na lang? Baka nag-ano lang, nag-break. Break agad? Napansin nyo si lolo nyo, Digong? Halos hindi na makaimik. Halos hindi na makapagsalita. Ma'am Lita Villegas, magandang gabi po sa inyo. Thank you. Hindi kay Ma'am Ellie, magandang gabi po sa inyo, ma'am. Thank you. Nob Ogral, magandang gabi po sa inyo, sir. Thank you. Ayan, nag-break pa siguro, kaya binalik muna dito. Nag-break. Nag-lunch. Masabi, kain ka muna, Digong. Mukha ka hindi ka na makapagsalita. Talagang grabe nung abogado ni ano, no? Ginamit talaga ang words ng kidnapping. Naniniwala ba kayo na kidnapping talaga ang nangyari kay dating Pangulong Duterte sa pag-aresto? Saan kasigaw-sigaw man yung Duterte, wala na kayong magagawa. Hanggang ganyan na lang kayo. Sige lang kayong nga. Hindi nyo iniisip ang mga inosente.
Okay, he's there, guys.
No,
Damn it. Well, I think our colleagues will make sure she ring her. Fear not. Huh?
shout out po from Cebu City. Sir Oscar, magandang gabi po sa inyo. Thank you, sir. Wala na, tapos na pala mga ka-action. Ayun lang pala pre-trial. Pre-trial pa lang kasi. Ayan na, tapos na nga. Kasi nagtakbuhan na niya, no? Kukunan na ng statement si ano, si Salvador. Yung dating executive, ayan na, wala na. Okay. Pinatay na nila. Ayan. Good evening sa lahat po. Sir Anamina Paul, maraming salamat po. Hanggang doon na lang siguro. Tapos na. Wala? Wala na. Pinatay na nga. Refresh nga natin. Wala na din dito sa Manila Bulletin, oh. Wala na nga mga guys, hanggang doon na lang pala. Saglit lang pala ang pre-trial sa kanila. Hindi nga umabot ng ilang ng kalating oras. Sabi ni Digong pag-introduce ang kanyang sarili, halos hindi na makapagsalita. Akala ko nga gagamitin niya yung pagmumura niya. Kasi kung natatandaan nyo yan, yung nung nagparayabang siya, no? Kung ano yun, lilitisin nyo, sipain ko kayo siya. Hindi na ginawang kambugan ni Digong Laki, no? Puro kayabangan. Ayan, Ma'am Merlinda Estrella, magandang gabi po sa inyo, thank you. And din sa ating bisita na taga Japan, magandang gabi po sa inyo, thank you. Ailey, ayan, magandang gabi po sa inyo, sir, thank you. Alright, hanggang dito na rin po mga live natin mga ka-action. Tapos na po ang live at nakahabot man tayo, no? Ayan, yun lang naman ang pre-trial. Okay, maraming salamat po sa inyo ha. Thank you sa inyong pagsama sa akin ng 40 minutes. Ayan, thank you po sa ating mga new subscriber, Ma'am Insert, thank you so much. And then sa mga nagre-reply po ng ating live, Ma'am Insert, thank you so much. Sa mga naka-member ng ating join button sa reaction man, Ma'am Insert, thank you so much. At syempre sa mga ka-action natin, mga kakamping nationwide all over the world, thank you so much. At syempre maraming salamat din po sa mga loyalista, Ma'am Insert, thank you so much. Sa mga ka-clear na Attorney Clear Castro, Ma'am Insert, thank you so much. At syempre sa mga kay Sir Just, kay Sir Sitwasyon, ayan kay Sir Pantay, kay Diriel Chua, kay Music Lover, Me in My Music, Sir Ronaldo Gonzales, Sir Ronaldo Lauta, Yako, and then kay Sir Arvin Selot, Sir Rayman Aguirre, Jane Risayo, Sir Andres De Leon. Thank you. And then kay Sir Calixta Tomas. Thank you. And then kay Ma'am Rosana Narumi, kay Ma'am Elizabeth Elorin, kay Ma'am Langga Yamit, kay Ma'am Elby Hunda, at kay Sir Roy Japantor. At syempre kay Ma'am Gianna Colonia, kay Ma'am Cheryl Andres, kay Ma'am Marisa Sumakawa Mix TV, kay Ma'am Marisa Suzuki, kay Beauty Mia, and then kay Sylvia Latorre, and then kay Joy Lim, and then kay Love Channel, and then kay Ma'am Ami Nimura, and then kay Ma'am Maxima Robles, and then kay Ma'am Arnie Aguilar. Ayan, thank you po sa inyong lahat ha. Ayan, see you tomorrow, Sir Jess. Bye po sa inyo, Sir Jess ha. Ayan, Ma'am Merlin Destrella, thank you. Kay Mr. Dingsho, thank you so much po sa inyo. Ayan, babay na po tayo mga kasan na makatulog na po tayo at ako'y pagod. Galing po ako kung saan. Alright, maraming salamat po sa inyo mga ka-action, mga kakambing, no? Ayan, thank you and good evening. Ako po ang inyong lingkod, si The Action Man. Good evening, everyone. Bye, Sir Jess. Bye.